action figure enthusiasts out there. JC here with another TNI news video. Now, we've got a lot of things to talk about today, so I'm going to jump into the news, though just real quick. If you haven't already checked out my video from the other day where I talk about the contest I'm doing right here on YouTube to give away a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store, I highly recommend that you check that out, and I do have a link to that in the video description below. Okay, so let's get into the news, and well, let's start off with bad news first, and we'll talk about a little bit here, NECA Toys and the debut of their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie line at Walmart's yesterday. So the first set went up on the Walmart website, the set with the Casey Jones and the Raphael in Disguise figure 2-pack, and unfortunately, it really didn't go very well. The figure seemingly sold out in just seconds online. People were sitting around refreshing their browser trying to get it. It was somebody would get it in their cart and then it would just disappear before they could even check out. It was just, it was not good. I was really hopeful that these were going to be made more readily available. And it even seems like that was it for online. That's what when somebody contacted NECA through their Facebook page, that's the response they got back, that was it for online. I would be very surprised if it doesn't come back in stock at some point. But for now, at least the foreseeable future, if you didn't get it online, here in the United States, that is, there was also a link put up to those of you internationally, which seemed to go much smoother. Those are being sold directly off of the NECA store. Unfortunately, NECA is not allowed to sell these here in the United States directly. That has to be through an exclusive like the Walmart. So at least according to NECA, that's part of their licensing agreement. So, but those of you who are internationally, surprisingly, actually had a much easier time of getting this set than those of us here in the United States. Now, I'm not going to, I think something has to be done this keeps happening far too often with too many companies. Just not too long ago, we had the whole debacle with Cobra Commander, more and more companies, which I think are being forced to kind of have to go the exclusive route because, their options, they have to kind of, you have to keep in mind that their biggest customers are really these retailers. It's not us specifically, it's the retailers. And so, they have to kind of go by what those retailers say because those are the paying customers. So I really kind of put more of the blame on this, this type of thing on the retailers more than the toy manufacturers. But nevertheless, and maybe even, the toy licensors, there might be restrictions that are placed on the toy companies that make this even worse. But regardless of whose fault it is, I really feel like something needs to be done to fix this problem because, again, it's just happening far too often, not just any one company, but pretty much every company. And the problem is every time this happens, it creates a more and more frustrating situation that I think really just drives away people. I mean, obviously there are always going to be diehard fans who are going to stick with things thick and thin. They're going to jump through all the hoops, no matter what. But I think there are definitely, more casual fans, customers out there, consumers, that they're just not going to put up with this. They're not going to spend all day trying to refresh their browsers to try and be able to buy a simple action figure. They're not going to pay 2 or 3 times the market price from a scalper to get these figures. So they're just going to say, I'm going to go find something else to spend my money on, and they're going to leave the hobby. And as that happens, the hobby, which is already a pretty small, niche hobby to begin with, just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So if companies don't find some way to fix these problems, I really think, this is going to end up being kind of the end of this hobby. To a certain extent. Like I said, it's very frustrating. It was a very frustrating experience for Teenage Mutant Ninja fans yesterday. And again, I'm not putting all the blame on NECA with this. I understand there are factors at play, but I really think that whoever is at fault, really is kind of immaterial from the consumer standpoint. It's more, we just want to see these things fixed. So we'll leave it at there. There was some other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle news that we got yesterday. This came on the Super 7 front, so they revealed their third wave of Ultimate figures. So these are 7-inch scale Ultimates, and keep in mind these figures are supposed to be based on the original Playmates toys, not like the cartoon, not the video game, not movies or anything like that. The thing behind these Super 7 figures are they're supposed to be based essentially on the original toys. And sometimes that's cool, sometimes it's not so cool. So like in the case, the third wave, just to break it down, is going to include Michelangelo. So we're getting another turtle. We're getting Metalhead. We're getting a Metalhead figure, which I think is cool. We're getting Rocksteady, which is a cool figure. And then April O'Neil. So in this particular case, the April O'Neil figure is supposed to be based on the original Playmates Toys April figure. And the problem with that in this case is that's a really ugly looking head sculpt. So, back in the day when all action figures were pretty, fugly looking and they only cost $7, you could get away with that. But, these cost around $50, and there's just, you need to include, if you want, I understand the gimmick, and if you want to include that kind of head sculpt as an alternate head, to pay tribute to the original April figure, I think that's cool. But I really think if you want people to put down the kind of money that you're asking for a figure like this, you're going to have to give us a good looking head sculpt, even if it's not in keeping with the original Playmates Toys figure. Otherwise, most people are probably going to pass on it. So maybe, probably at this stage it's too late, but definitely with something like this, I would recommend that you do the alternate head sculpt. Now, again, the other figures, now, for me personally, like the Michelangelo, I think looks pretty good, but I really am not looking to add more actual Turtles figures to my collection, so I can't say I'm super gung-ho on that one. But again, it does look good. And then I really like the Metalhead figure. I almost want to say I kind of like the Metalhead figure better than NECA's. And these are separate from NECA. A lot of people seem confused. They are, NECA's doing Metalhead, which is coming out, in the next week or so, and they're doing April O'Neil, and so there's, definitely similar characters being released, but these are two different companies. But anyway, I think this Metalhead figure actually looks really good. Again, kind of in keeping with the original toy. And then the Rocksteady figure I think also looks pretty good. I kind of like this Rocksteady a little better than the NECA one. So those two I think are very solid. The Michelangelo I think is decent, but that April O'Neil figure is just bad, and maybe they can add an extra head sculpt to that one. If they did, then I think it would be a pretty solid figure. And you get all the kind of classic accessories. It's even funny seeing April with a gun, but again, the original April O'Neil figure did actually come with a gun, so that's why that's included. Overall, I like this line. Again, a little bit on the pricey side, as with most of the Super 7 stuff, but I do like the line. Now, something a little bit different for you guys. This is a new Revoltech type figure. It's an actual bug. It is, you may have seen these recently in the past months in national headlines, these Asian giant hornets, or as they've been labeled in the papers and news, murder hornets, which had been recently sighted here in the United States. They are very painful. These are bugs that you do not want to be stung by. They also go after honeybees, which is a bad thing, but I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, GIJoe is actually making an action figure. They're doing this Revoltech bug line. So, they've got a couple other bugs, a crab and a scorpion, which I guess really aren't bugs, but animals that they're doing. So they don't transform or anything. They're just bugs, but they are highly articulated and detailed and everything. So I don't know, seemed kind of a cool thing. I mean, I probably wouldn't get it, but I can kind of see the appeal with these, especially if you like, looking at bugs and things like that. So this is available for pre-order now. It's slated for release around September, and you can get it at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. For you Witcher video game fans, it looks like McFarlane Toys is going to be doing some 7-inch and 12-inch scale action figures for this property. Now, you may recall back at the beginning of the year when I interviewed, actually, I guess it was, the beginning of the year, back in January, These years have just flown by. But I interviewed Todd McFarlane, and in that interview, I actually asked him. This is just as the Netflix Witcher series had come out, so The Witcher was gaining a lot of popularity, and I had asked him if they were had any thoughts about pursuing the Witcher license. Now these are video game based. It looks like not based on the Netflix series. But it looks like McFarlane, in the interview, he said it was something they were actually pursuing. So he actually told me in that interview that it was something they were looking at, and it looks like he was successful in getting the license. These showed up on these pre-order listings showed up on an overseas retailer, so they have not yet officially been confirmed by McFarlane Toys. But it does seem I've seen some distributors listing them as well, so it does look like these are actually coming. So right now it looks like they're doing two 7-inch figures, one of the Witcher himself, one of the Erden, I think that's how you pronounce it, character, and then there's a 12-inch version of the Witcher coming as well. And finally, there's a listing for a Walmart exclusive, which appears to be some type of 7-inch figure of The Witcher. I don't know how it's going to differ from the regular version, but looks like there's going to be some type of Walmart exclusive as well. So hopefully we'll be getting more details on this in the near future. At the very least, an official confirmation from McFarlane, maybe next month sometime. So do stay tuned for that. Mattel yesterday via the WWE website revealed some more figures for their Masters of the WWE line. So this is the mashup line of Masters of the Universe and WWE Wrestling. So I just reviewed the third wave of these figures. These figures are sold as Walmart exclusives. So the third wave should be hitting any day now. But we hadn't really seen anything beyond the third wave up until now. And with this, it's another one of the rings. So they did the Castle Grayskull ring in the first wave, which came with a John Cena and Triple H figure. And now we're getting the, as they call it, Rattlesnake Mountain ring, which is a play on Snake Mountain. And this set is going to come with a Hulk Hogan figure and a Stone Cold Steve Austin figure. So Stone Cold has some snake fists that he's wearing, and Hulk Hogan has a weird helmet and a red axe that he's coming with. And this should be going up for, again, this is going to be exclusive to Walmart and should be going up for pre-order very soon. Okay, now switching over to Hasbro. So today they had two different Fan Channel Friday events where they live stream and they show off new product. They did one for Transformers, which only lasted about 20 minutes. It was much shorter than I was anticipating. And then they also had one for GIJoe. So first of all, let's go over everything they talked about in the Transformer panel. And with that, they announced that the new Transformer Netflix series, the War for Cybertron series, is going to be 6 episodes and coming to Netflix, and it should start airing on July 30th. So mark your calendars for that. Then they talked about a Hasbro Pulse exclusive select weaponizer Centurion drone and weapons pack. So that's going to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. For Amazon, they're going to be doing an alternate universe Optimus Prime. So this had leaked out a while ago, images of this figure. It's basically Optimus Prime done in grayish colors, kind of made to look like when he died in the original 80s Transformers movie. Now, they made some indication that this figure is actually going to play a part in the Siege series, so I don't know how that's going to work. But if you kind of wanted to have your own dead Optimus Prime, this is your chance, and this will be going up. I don't know if it's up at the time I'm filming this, but it should be going up for pre-order sometime today on the Amazon website. They're doing a Generation Selects Tiger Tracks, so a yellow side swipe, and that is up for pre-order now at Big Bad Toy Store. And then also what they're calling Roto Storm, which is also a repaint figure, a Spinster repaint figure, and that too is available for pre-order at places like our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store. For Walmart's getting a number of exclusives, so they're doing another G1 reissue, this time a Blaster. This is basically an exact copy of the original G1 Blaster toy. They've done others like Astro Train and such, so we're getting Blaster. And Blaster, it was actually a very cool G1 toy. Hasbro has actually done a more recent blaster, which I think is a really, really good figure. But if you just like to, recapture the G1 look, then you might want to check this one out. It is up for pre-order on the Walmart website now. And then finally, they talked about their red line. This is I mentioned this line the other day in my last news video. This is their what I call their kind of Marvel Legends version of Transformers. It's a 6-inch scale line, and it features a G1 Transformers that do not actually transform. So you just get their robot modes without all the kibble and everything, which is kind of cool. Other than, to me, my biggest holdup with this line is 6-inch Transformers really are not in scale with anything. I talked about my thoughts on this line. And then just seeing these in the video and stuff that they had today, to me, like, you would have thought maybe they would have given us some really detailed paint decos or something, and they look pretty basic to me. So I don't know. Again, I mean, if you're into it, that's cool. But to me, I'm just not doing much for me. There's just too many other things out there that I collect that I'm going to spend my limited cash resources on than these. But right now they've announced 3 figures. So I talked about the previous 2, the Megatron and the Optimus Prime, the other day. And then the 3rd figure, which actually leaked out late last night but was officially revealed today during their streaming video, is Soundwave. Soundwave does have a chest that opens up and has a red cassette, Laserbeak cassette. However, Laserbeak, the cassette, does not actually transform, so you just get that cassette so you can kind of look like it's coming out of his chest or what have you. I'm guessing eventually they'll do a Laserbeak transformer, but that's going to be sold separately. So, again, just kind of a drawback of this line. But Soundwave is the 3rd figure that they've officially announced for this line so far. And then they did mention that beyond just G1 Transformers, they do have other Transformer properties plans for figures that they mentioned. Beast Wars and Transformers Prime would be getting this 6-inch figure treatment as well. So if you're a big Beast Wars fan or what have you, and you're digging these, then it looks like they're going to be doing some figures from that property as well. Now, as I was looking at these, I kind of thought a cool idea would be, since to me these are kind of just like they're taking the Marvel Legend concept and incorporating it into Transformers. So to me, what they should do is take the Build-A-Figure concept from Marvel Legends and use it for Transformers. And when I say that, what I would suggest is, you take a large character like, say, a Devastator, and you just put in the Build-A-Figure pieces so that you can complete, essentially a Devastator figure. It wouldn't transform, it wouldn't break down into its Constructicon forms, but you would have a large, sized, at least 12-inch, if not taller, Devastator to go with your 6-inch Transformers. They did something like that. I still don't know if I would get it, but that would make it a little more appealing to me if they did something cool along those lines. Okay, and then finally for GIJoe reveals, they had a couple new reveals for us. Now, most of these actually leaked out yesterday. We had seen package images come out, hit the internet late yesterday. But they did have one new total surprise for us, a new Storm Shadow figure for the 6-inch classified line. It's called Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, which seems to be loosely based on his second standard look, not when he was first part of Cobra, but when he switched over to the GIJoe team. He's got the hood, he's got some pretty cool weapons and everything. So this figure is, again, it's an Amazon exclusive. It is available for pre-order now, and that figure is due out in October. Now, this isn't the regular Storm Shadow. The regular Cobra edition of Storm Shadow, I'm guessing, is probably going to be released in Wave 3. That's the one we've seen the artwork for that has like the full-on tattoo on his arm and everything. So that one, is certainly still going to be coming as well. But we are getting a Storm Shadow figure. And then they also gave us an explanation on the 2 versions of Cobra Commander. So the dark blue version and then the light blue version, which they are officially calling the Regal variant Cobra Commander. So as it is, that figure is going to be sold on Hasbro Pulse exclusively. It is up for pre-order now on the Pulse website, and you have until the end of July 30th, to put your pre-order in. So after July 30th, you will no longer be able to get the figure, at least not other than maybe going to the secondary market. But again, if you want to get that light blue version, then head over to the Hasbro Pulse website. Now the dark blue version is just the regular release. It is available along with the new GIJoe that they announced today. So we're getting GIJoe, who now apparently has hair. And then the red Ninja Viper is also going to be in the regular wave, and that figure, all those are available for pre-order now at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. And the red Ninja, looks pretty cool as well. I didn't like it as much as first, but when we got the better images of it, it's actually growing on me. And then the final figure that they announced today is what they're calling Prophet Destro, which originally was named Pimp Daddy Destro. That was the nickname for this figure back when it first debuted back in the day. But it is now called Prophet Destro. So you get the gold mask, but he's wearing a very flamboyant type outfit. He's got like tiger print cape piece on the back, which is digitally printed apparently. That's what they said in the video. You get some burning money. He's burning cash, which is kind of funny. He gets a repaint of the briefcase that came with the first Destro figure, but still looks pretty good. So this is kind of a repaint variant. It's essentially using the Wave 1 Destro with some variants to it, but again, it's paying tribute to that original Pimp Daddy Destro figure. Now this Destro figure is being released as a fan channel exclusive, which essentially means it's available anywhere online that sells GIJoe Classified, and that figure along with the GIJoe and the dark blue Cobra Commander are available for pre-order now at places like our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store. Now in the Q&A for their GIJoe video, they didn't specifically come out and say, but I would say, they brought it up by name, mentioning rumors of the GIJoe 3 3/4 inch retro line, and then essentially dropping the name, and then said they can't comment on rumors. But from that, I really, that's definitely happening, and there's no doubt in my mind that retro line is happening. We still don't have any details. What kind of figures will they be? Will they be O-ring figures? Will they be reissues of the 25th anniversary stuff? Those are details we'll have to wait and see, but definitely that 3 3/4 inch retro line, I would say, is coming. They also indicated that vehicles are coming, which we've seen some listings hit like Target's website for a motorcycle set, so that's not terribly surprising either. But again, they didn't give us any kind of specifics on that stuff. They also revealed, they basically indicated that GIJoe Classified takes place in the near future. So this is essentially their explanation for why most of the figures seem to have like very futuristic type weapons. I think the real reason is because they don't want them to look so military-like, because my guess is they're afraid that won't be as appealing to kids. So they're giving them this kind of more sci-fi look with the weapons and stuff. But the official explanation for that is that this incarnation of GIJoe takes place in the near future, so they're using somewhat futuristic looking weapons. Okay, so that's it for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, please, if you haven't already, check out that video with the details of the $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store, the contest I'm doing right here on YouTube. Of course, I also have the 2 contests on Toy News International and Marvelous News for additional store credits to Big Bad Toy Store, so you can check out links to those in the video description as well. Stay safe out there, and until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.